So oftentimes when I talk about cybersecurity, I am talking about various layers of security, various controls, and I talk about the security onion. And so today I want to talk about those various layers. And I think the best way to do that, I don't actually have a onion present with me at the moment, but we can use a diagram that I found online. So here we are, the 7 layers of cybersecurity. Now, this is pretty much on the technical level. There's a lot more to this that we can go over, and I might at the end of the video, but we'll see. So first and foremost, we have the human layer, and so that's you and I. And oftentimes we are the weakest link and we are the strongest link. So for example, if I can trick someone to do something, well, now I've gotten past that human layer. Or if I misclicked on a link, or I Googled something and I misclicked on an advertisement or did something stupid. I made a mistake, right? And so that's the human layer. Now, if I made a mistake, there's plenty more layers that we can go down to. And this mission critical asset that you see down here, well, that is our cryptocurrency, specifically our seed phrase. So we go down. Perimeter security. So what exactly is that? So I would break this down into 2 separate areas. The first area is physical. So, for example, we all have a lock on our door. That is technically physical security. Now we can go one step further. What if we had a locked room in our house? Okay, that's 2 layers of security. Now, what if we had a safe within that room, within that locked room within our house? That's another layer of physical security. Now, as long as there's different keys or different ways of accessing, different types of access to those specific layers, that those all work together as layers in and of themselves. Now we look at the logical security. So for example, we have what are called firewalls, if you've heard of them before. Oftentimes on specifically Windows machines and even your router, your home network router has built-in firewalls that are already in use. However, we can go one step further and actually buy a firewall for ourselves. We can actually set up an additional firewall for ourselves. Now that's beyond what I go into in this video, so we'll continue on. If an attacker does compromise the human layer, you make a mistake, and compromise your firewall, then or your access to your building, the next thing we have is network security. And so network security, think of it as when you're accessing, let's say your Wi-Fi, you have password protected Wi-Fi. If that Wi-Fi is locked down adequately enough, that traffic from point A to point B will be encrypted. Now we got to make sure that we use the right type of encryption, but there's that component, but also we can segment networks. So for example, we don't just necessarily have to have one specific network for all of our devices. We can separate our devices per various networks. So for example, if I have work laptops or work desktops, what I can do is I can segment those onto a separate network from my home network, where all my home and personal devices would sit. The next thing on that would be your endpoint security. Now, when we're talking about endpoints, it's anything that you use, so user devices. So that's your phone, that's your laptop, that could be your iPad or anything like that. So we want to make sure those are locked down, making sure that those are password protected, making sure that we are only installing apps that we are using on a regular basis, and we are cleaning up those apps that we don't use on a regular basis as well. The next thing down the list is, well, application security, making sure that we download reputable apps and making sure that when we interact with those apps, we do so in a secure way. So as you can see, we're going down from the very basic human layer, oops, we made a mistake, all the way down this security onion. Now, let's say at this point, we have strong application security. An attacker fooled us, got into our perimeter, went through our segmented network, compromised our device. However, if we have, let's say, a software wallet, they can't get in. Well, guess what? They compromised up to this point, and our mission critical asset, aka our crypto, is actually still secure. Now, what happens if they compromise that application? Uh-oh, now we're getting into dangerous territory. So this is where we get into data security. Now, data security, this is kind of the final layer. So for example, if I'm an attacker and I get through all of this and I get access to your data, Typically, data is associated with a mission critical asset. So the one layer that can protect us here is encryption. So let's say I have full control over your desktop or your laptop. Now I want to access sensitive information that you have on that desktop or laptop. However, I encounter that sensitive data, it's encrypted. I cannot see it, right? And so that's where, in crypto terms, this is where I compromise your laptop or desktop. However, I don't have your seed phrase. I don't know where it is. It's not stored digitally. Like, I recommend you store it physically, not digitally. Therefore, I cannot access your mission critical assets. However, if I did store my seed phrase on a digital platform, all I would have to do is figure out where it is, and then therefore I can compromise your mission critical asset. And so this is how cybersecurity works. And this is how exactly we want to look at securing our crypto. Now, there's 2 or 3 layers above this that are more conceptual in nature. But at this point in time, I believe this is one of the best ways. It covers 80% of the things that we want to look at. So from a practical point of view, human layer, that's ourselves. We want to make sure that we are training ourselves regularly on best practices. Perimeter security, if you are more technical minded, look into your firewall configurations. If you're not technically minded, well, I would start looking into researching what types of protection that you can protect on your network, such as making sure that your Wi-Fi has a strong password. Network security, I wouldn't worry too much about this one. Unless you are technical. If you are technical, then I'd highly recommend that you enable a guest network and a home network, and you separate your devices sufficiently that way. Endpoint security, making sure that we have strong passwords on all of our devices, making sure that we know where our devices are, and making sure that the devices that we don't use get wiped. Application security, making sure that we only use applications that we use on a regular basis. Get rid of the applications that you no longer use. Data security. So this is kind of the last layer here, right? And so we want to make sure we store our seed phrase in a very secure space that is not digital at all, but in a physical way. And so that is that in a nutshell. And I'll probably do one more video on 3 more layers, and they're more conceptual in nature, as I said. So anyways, I hope this was useful to you, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.